we built a house in White City. We were the 32nd house.
We knew every mom and dad and child and cat and dog and grandpa and grandma.
I started the swimming pool business on the side. That led to getting into construction and land developing, and then we proceeded with partners to develop Kingsmere Park area, which was an 80-lot housing development, and we sold that out in 2 years. Then the people that had bought the Wheatland Estates area needed a manager, so they hired me to manage the development. At the time we got into the development, there was an opportunity from the government to pave the main street of a town. All the towns around here just had gravel streets. So when we had this opportunity to get the main street paved, we paved Gregory Avenue, which was in the very first part of White City. And that avenue kind of set the stage that in the future, all of our streets and all our developments had to be paved by the developer. So we were way ahead of all the other neighboring towns when it came to paving streets. I ran for councillor, and I was tied with another fellow that ran for council, and I got picked out of a hat. Like when there's a tie for councillor in a village, the village secretary has to put the name in a hat, draw one out of the hat. In 1974, our council started the bylaws as to the size of homes, size of lots, etc. This was revisited in 1978, and it pretty much still is the same. White City was a very close-knit community. The White City people organized an association. The women were doing food preparation for the IPSCO barbecues, and they formed their ladies' association. We used to have, just on the corner before you come into Garden of Eden, it was a school. It was called Pybrock School, and that school closed about 2 years before we moved to White City in 1969. The ladies' club bought that school out of the money they made making food to move to White City as a community hall. All us men worked on putting a basement under and fixing it up, and we had this as our community hall. We used to have socials in this community hall. We always had a summer barbecue. We built a playground in that same area, on that same land, so the children always had something to do for fun.
That same building is now the home of the play school.
We formed an Optimist Club in White City. Between White City and Emerald Park, we started off with over 60 members of our Optimist Club. Our Optimist Club built the park, which is now called Surbu Park, and we did some stuff for the soccer field that's in Emerald Park, and we did a lot of volunteer work in the whole community. We had an Asia-Pacific program. When we went to China, we took the school's video camera and brought the school teacher that was in charge of the Asia-Pacific program, filming of our visits to schools and in China for teaching purposes. Lindsay Bauer decided he didn't have enough pasture, so he cut the fence open and let his cattle go into Wheatland Estates.
I thought it was they got out.
They were eating these people's garden. I had to get a hold of Lindsay and tell him, you can't do that. Got his cattle back on his property and fixed the fence back up.
First time it took the swimming pool shed over the mutual hedge, dumped it in the neighbor's backyard.
The next tornado killed the whole west end of our roof, the low part.
It was a 4-level split.
It rolled it over into the backyard, knocking down a big tree. Then it went to the neighbor across the back and took the low part of his roof off. 4 years later, another tornado come along, and it took the low part of our roof off again. But it rained 4 inches that time. And all our insulation, the drywall insulation, everything was a huge mess.
It's still very much a bedroom community. It's also changed in the fact that people have become more close-knit, more community conscious.